Hey guys, welcome back to another update on the Blue Angels Cruiser. This airplane is so close to being completely done. We're really getting there. It's just a matter of some paint now, but I've been working on that. This video is just a bunch of little updates on the things I'm doing with the wheel pants and the cowl, and then some fire sleeve. At the end of my videos, I always ask you guys if you'll hit the subscribe button and to give it a thumbs up, but nobody ever watches a video all the way to the end, which is kind of a shame because that's where all the naked ladies and stuff are. So I'm gonna ask you right at the beginning of the video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we're getting close to the first flight, so you're not gonna wanna miss that. I've put some tape over the fuel hose just because I don't wanna get any of these little fibers down into the hose. But I can put this fire sleeve on. It's kind of hard to get on. The more that's on, the harder it is, but might want to not forget to take the tape back off. All right, here it is installed. What's interesting is when this fire sleeve goes around the bend, it shortens up a little bit. So now I'm about a 1/4 inch too short here. But what I'll do is I'll seal this with the red silicone and then tie that off to kind of seal both ends. And I've got the hose clamps put back on here. But these ones, of course, I had to replace with bigger ones because now the diameter of this is bigger than just the hose by itself. So at least now it's got some fire protection to it. So I want to show you my oil access door that I made for the top of the cowling. Now I still have to sand away a little bit of filler on here, but I wanted this oil door to have no visible hinges or rivets or anything like that. I have two little butterfly thumb 1/4 turn fasteners that hold it closed. So it just opens like that and then closes and locks in. And then once it's closed and once it's painted, it should look pretty nice. And the way I made this was, I don't know if I showed you on another video or not, I think I did, but before I cut this opening out in the cowling, I laid up fiberglass on top of here to make this door. And then I cut out the opening in the cowling, and then I just traced that opening onto the bigger piece of fiberglass that I had, and then trimmed out the door to fit. All right guys, my next project I have before I paint the cowl is to replace all of these 1/4 turn fasteners. And the reason I want to replace them, and I'm going to replace them with these, which is just a screw and a countersunk washer, is because every single one of these probably takes me, without exaggerating, I'm going to say about 3 minutes to put in. Because every single one of these stupid things I have to fight with to get it in there, to get it lined up, to try to catch the fastener behind it. It is a royal pain in the butt to take this top cowling off. In fact, these two up here, this one and then the one on the other side, I can't even get the thing in because it won't catch on the latch behind it. So I'm going to replace all of these with screws. But that presents a little bit of a problem, which I'll show you next. Okay, as I was taking this top cowling off, because I wanted to show you the inside, I'm going to give you an example of exactly what I mean. Even taking this top cowl off is a hassle. Here's one of these connectors that's in and installed right now. So it's a 1/4 turn counterclockwise to unlock it, right? Now that should just pull right out. Now, it's unlocked, but to try to get this out, it's caught on everything behind it. The cowling wants to spread apart like that, which is making it even tighter. So just to get this thing out, see, I can't even get it. It's like it's twisted in there now and stuck. Now it's locked again. See, I do this with almost every one of these. It's just these things are absolute garbage and I would never recommend, I can't even get it out. I'll probably have to take the other side out first and maybe that'll move the cowling enough to get that stupid thing out. That is why I'm replacing these. So I'll just show you how these work. These are the parts that get riveted to the inside, and this thing just goes in here like this. And then you're supposed to 1/4 turn it, if you can see, and it catches on there. But these things just don't work with this cowling. Now I'll show you why this is kind of a hassle to change out these connectors. As you can see, I have a solid rivet in each one. It's a countersunk rivet, so this is smooth. And I have to drill out all of these rivets on every one to remove the fastener. And then what I'll do is I'll replace it with a regular nut plate. But the problem is the nut plate holes are closer together than the holes for this other connector. So what I'm going to have to do, when I drill out all of these rivets and take off all these connectors, all of these holes for every hole or connector, I'm going to have to fill with fiberglass and then, you know, sand smooth so there's no holes basically. Then I can put the new nut plate behind there, drill the new holes, countersink the holes, and then rivet it on. So it's going to be a lot of work to do this, but if I don't do it now before the cowl is painted, I never will. Well, I've now done it. I have drilled out each one of these rivets in the nut plates, and all I have to do next is fill the little holes with resin, sand it smooth, and then I can drill the new holes for the nut plates. These really weren't that hard to drill out. When I built my RV7, it uses the same kind of flush solid rivets, and I had to drill out a couple of those, and they were always a hassle because it was tough to get the drill bit in the very center of the rivet, even though there's a little kind of divot in the rivet. They were just hard to do, so I was kind of dreading doing these, but it was actually every single one of them centered perfectly and drilled right out. It was actually pretty easy to do. So now I'm looking forward to just getting this part done, and then I can get the bottom of the cowling prepped for primer and paint. I have the wheel pants all prepped and ready for primer and paint, except this little corner right here. I still have to sand off just a little bit more putty. And I have these two pieces of aluminum that I need to prime and paint, and those are the access covers for this part of the wing. So once this dries and I sand it, I can get all the wheel pants prepped and painted. Now the last step in getting these ready to go is I ran over to my neighbor Len's and I got some fiberglass resin, and then we mix that resin with flocks and microballoons to get like a peanut butter consistency. And if you guys remember from a previous video, I drilled a hole in the wrong spot on the wheel pant. So on the inside, I just put a little piece of fiberglass, about a 1-inch square, just to give it a backing. And then on the front here, I have, there it is, I filled in the hole with the little peanut butter solution. And then same thing on the cowling. Those little holes on the side where I was going to put the screw but decided to put it here, did the same thing on both sides here. I just put a little piece of fiberglass on the back and then some resin on or in the hole to fill it. Same thing on that side, there's a little piece of fiberglass and then the peanut butter to fill it. Once that dries, I can sand it smooth. And then the top cowl, the wheel pants, and that's it. Top cowl and wheel pants will be ready for primer and paint. I'm mounting all the wheel pants on this bench here, and I made this little T because what I do is I just put the wheel pant on it like this, and it'll sit on there, and I can get around it and prime it and paint it. So here's the wheel pants mounted on the workbench. Oh, I did have to add some more putty to these. In fact, if you guys have ever painted fiberglass before, once I put the first coat of primer on all of these, they'll probably have a lot of little pinholes and stuff that I'll have to fill, and then I'll probably have to shoot another coat of primer. And in my two little access panels here, I just put on I just used masking tape to stick them on there. Only one side's gonna get primed and painted, so I can just hold this like this and prime and paint those. And then all the wheel pants will be done. All right, it's been a few days and I've got the wheel pants completely ready for primer and paint. So I moved them back over to the inside of the paint booth. I put the cardboard back down on the floor, moved the lights out. And my paint booth is kind of like a shower curtain. I just have two cables hanging on the walls and I slide the curtains or the tarps over like a shower curtain. That closes off the paint booth. And then once that's done, I was able to shoot some epoxy primer on the wheel pants. I'm really happy with how the primer came out. It's really smooth and there's almost no dust, so this worked really well. The seams along the wheel pants, it looks like I did a fairly good job of filling them because they've completely disappeared. Now, like I said before, with this coat of primer on it, I am noticing some more pinholes and little imperfections and stuff that I will have to fill, sand down, and then shoot another coat of primer on the wheel pants. Well, I guess just like the wheel pants, the first part of getting the cowl ready for primer is to scuff up this nice smooth gel coat that's on the cowling because the paint won't really stick to that. So I'm using here 220 grit sandpaper just to go over the whole cowl and give it a very dull, scratched up finish actually. Well, the top cowling is all, well, as I say, it's all ready for primer, but I did have to fill in just a little bit more on the rivets to hold the oil door on. So I'll let that dry, sand that off, and then I can get this, or I can actually spray the primer on here, which I will probably do tomorrow. So I will end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and please hit the like button, subscribe, and maybe on the next video you will see these and the wheel pants painted.